the chairman of today's event. The chairman doesn't really need too much of an introduction, but I can see that beyond the first 5 rows, I have stopped seeing gray hairs. So for the benefit of those people from row 5 and as far high as possible, I will be talking a little bit about the chairman of today's event. Mr. Henry Odein Ajumogobia is a senior partner in the leading corporate commercial law firm of Ajumogobia and Okeke. Mr. Ajumogobia was conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria in 2003, having been called to the Nigerian bar in 1979. He serves as chairman of the board of First Exploration and Petroleum Development Company Limited. He was also a member of the Paris-based ICC International Court of Arbitration and ICC International Commission on Arbitration from 2001 to 2006. Mr. Ajumogobia entered public service following his appointment as Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice between 2003 and 2007, and was appointed Minister of State for Energy, Petroleum, and head of the Nigerian delegation to OPEC in July 2007 up till December 2008. Subsequently, he became Minister of State for Petroleum Resources from January 2009 to April 2010. He was subsequently appointed Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs on April 6, 2010, and served in that position until the dissolution of the Federal Cabinet on May 29, 2011. He is a National Award of Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, OFR. Mr. Ajumogobia is a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and has received numerous honors and distinctions, and is the recipient of the LLD degree, honorary causa, from the Rivers State University of Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ajumogobia.
The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Aret Adams Foundation, Mr. Egbert Imomoh, Mrs. Aret Adams, who to me has always been Auntie Irene, other distinguished members of the high table, especially the acting GMD of NNPC representing the GMD, Mr. Saidi Mohammed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished students who are here with us. I wish to say how honored I am to have been invited to play this role as chairman of this occasion this morning. The Aret Adams Memorial Lecture Series has been an important landmark in our calendar for the last 14 years. And it's a great honor for me to be chairman of this 14th edition of the series. I wish to acknowledge in this regard the work of the chairman of the Board of Trustees and the other trustees who have been introduced to us for keeping this series alive and interesting in terms of its helping to initiate new ideas in the industry. An industry that I now consider myself to be an honorary member of by virtue of my past association with it. It's fitting that we should, from time to time, pause to honor those who have, through their commitment, their passion, their vision, have affected lives in, not just in the immediate area in which they've operated, in this case, Chief Aret Adams in the oil and gas industry, but also beyond it. A lot of what Chief Aret Adams stood for in the industry still remains alive today, 15 years after he passed on. And that's a great indication of the sort of person he was. Indeed, there could be no more fitting tribute to late Chief Aret Adams than this annual lecture series established 14 years ago in honor of an eminent visionary Nigerian, an exemplary father, amiable friend, and wise mentor to many people from all walks of life, and least of all myself, and fondly remembered by all who came into his orbit through various personal and professional encounters, and regardless of religious, tribal affiliations, as he's been described, a man with a large heart. Chief Adams' lifetime of fulfilled service as a petroleum engineer and administrator has been significant. Trainee petroleum engineer, Shell BP Petroleum, 1964, rising to the position of senior petroleum engineer before joining NNOC, the precursor of NNPC, in 1974. A manager of NNPC Exploration and Production Division, 1977, rising to the position of general manager, in which he was responsible for managing the federal government joint venture investments with several MOCs. Managing director of NNPC in 1985, and later appointed first group managing director of the corporation until his retirement in 1990. And finally, General AbdulsalamiAbubakar's special advisor on petroleum resources. A technocrat of repute, was evidently marked by intelligence, humility, charm, and professionalism, which continues to inspire many within the industry and beyond. His great love and sacrifice for equality, education, self and national empowerment, positive and professional local capacity building, the birth of publicly owned indigenous oil companies, for which he must always be celebrated, made him an exemplary activist long before such policies, such as the local content policy and indigenous oil companies that now produce a significant volume of oil in Nigeria, became fashionable. Such interest and commitment to the very essence of today's lecture, which serves as a platform for sharing knowledge and ideas about improving our oil and gas industry, and by extension, the national economy. The theme, Find More, Produce More, could not be more appropriate and timely given the continued crisis facing the oil and gas industry worldwide, including our own, of course, spurred by our actions, domestic and global, and the challenges it poses to our well-being and security. Looking at the agenda for this lecture, I feel certain that we shall, by the end of this event, have managed to untangle some of the seeming complexities attendant on today's overwhelming objective: to find more and produce more, to harmonize disparate and relevant stakeholder views on ways to sustain and improve our oil and gas industry, and by extension our economy, in order to surmount existing and future challenges posed by dwindling oil prices and an all but certain future without oil. The lessons will perhaps include government and financial policies, sustainable development, addressing host community agitations, tackling pipeline security, and attitudinal changes. To set the tone for our deliberations on the theme as a guest speaker, we couldn't have wished for a more knowledgeable and distinguished speaker, a veteran of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, the erudite Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mike Kanti Baru, whose impeccable work ethic has earned him the well-deserved sobriquet, workaholic and strict disciplinarian. Unfortunately, Dr. Baru couldn't be with us this morning, but he has asked the acting group managing director of NNPC, Mr. Mohammed Said Mohammed, who is the acting group managing director and executive director of gas, in charge of gas, who is also a veteran of the oil and gas industry. He's been well known in the industry, and because he's a veteran, I have no doubt that we will be treated to an excellent lecture this morning. constantly appreciate their valuable insights and professionalism. No doubt this arises from the years of hard-earned experience working in various capacities in upstream and downstream sectors of the NNPC, including Group Managing Director's Office and NAPIMS. I understand that today's lecture is taught within a comprehensive and holistic framework which combines research and theory with experience and hard lessons learned in the industry. As stakeholders, there's so much to reflect on in thinking about the present and future of the industry, and I look forward to a lively debate. It is on this note that I wish once again to warmly welcome you all to this 14th Aret Adams Memorial Lecture with the theme, Find More, Produce More. Thank you. Another round of applause for our distinguished chairman.